Hello again, everybody. It's MrScaryMuffin here, and as promised, this video is going to be a little bit shorter. We're only going to be looking at the Ready Up system, and I wanted to talk about the other way of doing wireless redstone, which I kind of touched upon in our first video when I first introduced this template world for you guys using the remote clock stopper. Anyways, you notice I've touched up the lobby a little bit. I've added these little pathways so people know which way to go. One of the early problems I had with the lobby in adversity was that people didn't know where they needed to go to join teams, where they needed to go to return to lobby, where they needed to go to join spectator. So I put the pathways on the ground, surrounded the pressure plate with a nice comfy looking couch, and I split up the red and the blue team so that I could put the Ready Up right next to the area, and when I hit this it should say red team is ready. When I do that it should say red team is not ready. Early problem you can probably note is that you can have a jerkwad spamming the message here. It is possible to put in a failsafe to prevent spamming. You could have a delay on the checker, that way anybody's trying to spam, that way it will max out how long it would take. I'm not going to use a delay check, namely because the big thing I wanted to do for this Ready Up system is for people to be able to unready at the drop of a hat. If somebody like, oh shoot, we're not ready, even if the game is just about to start, I want them to be able to unready and cancel everything. So instant access is important. The other thing that this does not do is it does not check to see if a red team member is hitting this. Again, that's easy to do. If you could use a different system for your Ready Up to check to see whether a red team member is in the area when hitting this switch. That way a blue team member can't Ready Up and then run over here and Ready Up for their own side. There's other ways you can do it. Calamity, for example, teleports people to a different island so that it's impossible for a blue team member to get to that island and hit their Ready Up switch, and only red team members can hit that switch. So that's one way. You can just box people inside, for example, into their own area. That way they won't interrupt each other. So physical ways to solve that issue. Again, I'm not going to bother with that simply because I'm trusting people not to be jerkwads in the lobby up system. But if you are finding that you have problems with that, either stop playing with jerkwads or find a way to fix it, a different way to fix it. But really, I think if you're having trouble with people being jerks, just don't play with them, to be honest. Anyways, let's look at and see what happens. We only added this little section here, and we have a different kind of check. So whereas before these would check for anybody with a score, anybody present on the server with a minimum score of join red or say join blue. These are flags, these are tags. We tag a player and say that guy's got to join blue, I do things to that person. The Ready Up system is a binary thing, so they're either ready or they're not. Instead of tagging people with a ready tag, so I could tag and say give all blue team members the ready tag. That could be done, but that can cause problems where, for example, if you have a team of 5 and the entire team ready up and all 5 members get a ready tag, and then say one of them internet crashes and they leave the game and like, oh no, he crashed, so let's unready. So then the remaining 4 people who are online unreadies up, so they lose their Ready Up tag, but that guy who has disappeared out of the server, he still has a ready tag, and as soon as he comes on, his team is going to be considered ready because the game will detect that somebody has a Ready Up tag. So we're going to use a different way of doing Ready Ups, and it's set blue team ready, a binary 1. So if you guys remember when we had the clock, we have a binary objective, and I only use the binary objective for these binary redstone things. Normally the format for scoreboard player stuff is you do set, and if you do set, right, then you do player, then objective, then a score. So underscore blue team ready is the player but it's not a real person. Now, originally, if you guys remember from the first video, I was using exclamation mark because you can't actually have an exclamation mark in your name in the game, so that person will never exist. So we'll never have a problem with, say, a person actually naming themselves _blue team ready and joining the game. I've recently found out that Bucket doesn't recognize exclamation marks even in these command blocks, and it causes problems for people who are trying to make the game and use world edit at the same time. So I've since switched everything back to underscore. I don't think anyone is going to have a name _blue team ready. You just have to make sure you pick your names smartly so that none of these things will ever happen. So I've set these fake name blue team ready binary 1. It doesn't matter what score thing I give it. I can give it anything, but I chose the binary because that's going to be a blank data. I'm not using it for the game or anything. I'm using it only for these binary stuff. When it turns off, so when this powers on, it will power up that. And oh, that's really hard to read. I might need to change that color. Anyways, when this powers on, it'll power that command block, which will set blue team ready to binary 1, and then the redstone or wireless redstone will pick that up and say stuff. When we turn this off, that redstone torch will turn back on and power this command block, which resets blue team ready all the scores. And it's important to reset blue team ready as opposed to set it to 0. If you set it to 0, it will still detect a score, and that's not what you want. You want to reset it completely so nothing gets detected at all. So what's going on here is that this check, instead of being a test for, like one of these things here, it's simply a list. It's going to see if the player blue team ready has any scores at all, including 0 scores. But it will see that if you reset all the scores, he'll give no output. But if you set his score to a ready, or set his binary up, it will activate this, which will activate this little announcement, as well as turn this redstone torch off. When this goes back on, this torch turns back on, and it'll say they're not ready again. I colored the command blocks using Sethbling's color command block filter. You can check that out on his website. When both teams have readied up, both these torches will turn off, which will turn on this torch and start the countdown cycle. So the game is starting in 5, and it'll play a little bong sound, and it will run across. Of course, I put a bunch of repeaters so that there's a delay between each one. This one should say 4. Oh, actually, oh shoot, I totally missed it. I did an extra one here. I'm just gonna have to retract the line back and MC edit later on. Anyways, so yeah, it's gonna go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it's gonna go dong 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 each time, and then say the game has started. And I just like in Versity, I put the little random explosion sound at the start of that. Running parallel to this line is the unready check. If any team unreadies, if either team unreadies, then this line is gonna activate, and it's gonna put this, it's going to turn on these repeaters, which will cut off this comparator. This comparator will not be able to send a signal through to the command block, and it's faster than any of the redstone stuff. It will catch it at the last second and stop it. And this is a design that Muffins and I created for the Ready Up. We based it off of CoStar's Ready Up system, which used hoppers, but the problem with the hoppers is that they had a cooldown period, which means that if you unreadied, then there's still a cooldown period before all the hoppers reset. So if you unreadied and then re-readied right away, instead of going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 again, it'll go, so say you go 5, 4, 3, oh no, unready, and then re-ready, it'll go back to the 3. It'll start again, the countdown at 3. I wanted the countdown to start again from 5 immediately, even if I unreadied and re-readied immediately. And this is what we came up with in order to do that. So once the game has started, it will power on this RS NOR latch, and this RS NOR latch splits off into 3 parts. There's the things that happen to everyone, which such as I'm just resetting any scores that you need to reset, creating new objectives such as kill counts. That way, if people had killed each other in the lobby time, it won't count until now. And you can do all the things that you need to do for everybody along here. And we have all the things you want to do to the blue team members along this line. You can make it as long as you need it. If you need to add a repeater, you can just put a repeater right here. And the basis thing you need to do is, of course, is tag with the game start. Tag them with the game start. That way it knows that the game has started, and that will work with our lobby system that we did last time. So you can do things like teleport them onto the map. You can do things like give them specific effects. Remove the lobby effects is probably important. Because they'll still have their weakness, mining, fatigue, and saturation. Unless you want that to be there, you might want to remove those effects. You can give them their starting items. You can do a lot of things to them, set their new spawn points, etc., etc. If you need to reset for any reason the game start, it will announce the reset, take away the game start from all the players, and also reset the ready up. I think that's pretty much the entire ready up system. I will fix this up, and again, it'll be available for download, guys. If you have any questions whatsoever, let me know. When 1.7 comes out, I think I would do binaries in a different way. At least I would do this one in a different way. I might use the summon command to summon things instead and remove things. That way we can get a different way of doing signals. But for now, this is our second way of doing redstone, wireless redstone. The first being flagging people with an objective. The second way is flagging non-existent people with objectives. They use different commands for detections and different commands for setting them on and off. But they're both very handy and they're useful for different situations. So keep an eye on those things and know when you should be using them. Again, if you guys have comments, questions, concerns, post them in the comments below. I will have the download for this in the video description, so do check it out. And next time we will be doing some other things, and I think next video should be the last one. I don't think there's much more else to cover for template worlds indeed. So hopefully you guys will find this template useful for your own map making, and look forward to seeing what you guys come up with. Till then, see you later, guys. Take care.